And we're back with another interview. Tonight's show welcomes Chris McFarland. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Good. It's a pleasure to be on, Emmett. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you for being on with us tonight. So we're going to hit you with some questions, and here we go. So, McFarland, first year at Fordham, how's it working with you? How's the club hockey team going?
It's great. I love the dynamic of being in New York City. You know, had some friends come with me, Aiden Boyle, Keenan Troy, both good guys. And it's been a lot of fun going out in the Bronx. You know, it's crazy. It's huge. The city's huge. As far as club hockey goes, it's a lot of fun. Made a lot of new friends. A lot of Patriots fans, which are kind of annoying though. So
yeah,
that's an issue. But besides that, yeah, it's been great. Really enjoyed my time. Happy with my decision.
That's good. Now the Bronx. Give me some. What goes on in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Well, there are no rules in the Bronx really. You can basically get away with it whatever you want at night. There's too many more serious criminal activity going on than underage drinking. So there's not a lot of worry from the police catching you with an open container or anything.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So you can really pretty much get away with whatever you want, which is
nice.
Really nice. Nice for college kids for sure.
That is good.
Right.
Rob, question?
Yeah. Chris, we're all trapped inside of our houses now. And there have been many reports of how the coronavirus, where it actually came from, how it started. In your opinion, where did the coronavirus really come from?
Well, it's pretty obvious that it came from Wuhan, China. Nobody's really questioning that.
Right.
But the question is, where in Wuhan did it come from? So what China initially reported is that it came from a market that supposedly sold bats. And one of the bats was infected with a SARS coronavirus, which is SARS was a disease back in the early 2000s, which is closely related. But recent developments have shown that actually that supermarket or market, really not a supermarket, outdoor didn't even sell bats, and it might be completely made up. And the new leading theory is that a worker at a lab in Wuhan that researched the coronavirus contracted it, brought it home, gave it to his girlfriend, and then this information was suppressed by the Chinese government. So that's the new story. And supposedly they lied about this to just not look weak to the United States.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
That's definitely a leading theory going on today. Now, the whole world has been struggling with the coronavirus obviously from Italy, Spain. It's been hit very hard in Europe. Now, do you think this was intentionally released, or do you think this was an accident by some study done?
I don't think anyone would ever intentionally release a virus on their own people, of course. But I do think that the steps taken to cover it up were intentional, and it ended up backfiring for the Chinese people. They initially reported the World Health Organization is also part of the problem. They advanced a narrative that China was putting forth that it did not, for the whole month of January, that it was not human to human. It was only bat to human contracted. But the reality was that it was human to human. Even World Health Organization doctors said it was human to human, but the leadership of the World Health Organization decided that to not follow that narrative and to pursue a different one.
Yeah. Now, do you think it was preventable, or could the Chinese government, could they prevent it?
Yes. Well, if the Chinese government openly just let in other government organizations to help investigate the virus and find the best solution, this could have been contained by about 95%, which is what I saw today on the news. And so this really could have been prevented, definitely, if different actions were taken.
Yes.
You know, we're all supposed to be locked in our houses, as I mentioned, but as we saw at the early start of the outbreak in the United States, really where it's been hit hard in San Francisco and California. But Nancy Pelosi thought that she decided to go to Chinatown in San Francisco during all of this. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, the whole left side of the political spectrum has been so backward on this whole issue. In the early month of January and early February, Biden and Pelosi were calling Trump xenophobic for locking down the borders. And now they're saying that he didn't act soon enough. So really they're really just playing a blame game, and they're just trying to make the president look as bad as possible, and they have no concern for the American people whatsoever.
Now, President Trump has faced a lot of controversy during this time, saying that he could have done more, that these lives are his fault because he didn't do enough, and he still is not handling this well enough, and he's too focused on opening the economy. What's your thoughts on that and how President Trump has handled this whole pandemic?
I think he's done a pretty good job. His head doctor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, came forth on Monday saying that Trump acted as soon as Fauci came in and talked to him about it with all of his recommendations, and this basically followed what he's prescribed for the early resistance to the virus. However, Trump's starting to be more concerned about the economy because something that is more deadly than the Chinese virus is like depression and suicide, which is a huge result from unemployment. And right now, over I think it's 11 million Americans are unemployed, and that's just a huge amount. So that's like almost 10% of the employable workforce in the country. So it's that's a bigger problem than the coronavirus for sure.
Yeah, off of going off what you said about Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. Now we saw that former President Barack Obama gave Joe Biden his endorsement. Do you feel that endorsement was a little forced?
Well, I feel Barack Obama had to endorse whoever the nominee ended up being, and now that it's Biden, it's kind of funny that he had to wait until all the other candidates were out of the race, even communist Bernie Sanders. So it's kind of ridiculous that it kind of shows that Obama and Biden don't really have the best relationship, and that kind of had to do it. It would have meant a lot more if he would have done it when Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and other Democrat frontrunners were still in the race. But now it does seem forced. You're correct to say that.
Okay.
I would agree. Do you miss the Bernie Sanders campaign?
Well, I love the Bernie Bros. They're really fun to watch. They don't know what they're talking about, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. When you ask him how he's going to pay for a $96 trillion policy change, he just says, "We will find the money," and that doesn't work. So there's not even $96 trillion circulating in the U.S. economy most of the time. So it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and then my final question for you, off topic, at Fordham, I know that you have a real good time every time that you guys go out, and you end up with girls you don't think you'd end up with. In your case, you had a beautiful girl with you at Fordham, and you couldn't get the job done. Do you have any comments on that?
That was definitely a low point in my tenure at Fordham University so far. But I just had too much to drink that night. Happens, and just couldn't perform. And I'm not ashamed of it. Happens to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I learned from it though. That's what's most important.
That's good. You learned from your
truth right there. Good to hear. I got a couple more. Obviously, you said you're very happy with the club hockey team at Fordham. So what was it like? Was there any team initiation? Was there anything like that? What did you have to do to be a part of the team? Because I know you had to do some stuff, and I had to do some stuff for rugby. So let's hear about yours.
Yeah, there's like some small stuff we had to do. We had this like little mini week where we had to carry around this egg, and then there was this party type initiation ceremony at the end of the week where we drank a little, or not a little. We were drank a lot, and they had these weird activities we had to do. So it was pretty fun. But I ended up breaking my egg early in the week on accident. So I had to carry around this carved pineapple. It smelled really bad. So that was interesting. Got a lot of looks in class. I couldn't put it in my bag. So
how'd you break your egg?
Oh, I was just throwing it up in the air and I dropped it.
That's
tough. That's not the story I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fun though. Definitely looking forward to being a sophomore next year and being able to implement the same stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any good boil stories for me?
Oh yes, I have a lot of good boil stories.
Oh, let's hear them. That's what we've been waiting to hear.
Oh well.
Content.
Let me see. Well, Boyle loves tequila. It's a big thing for him. So when he is doing the tequila shots, he does a lot of dumb stuff. He'll Snapchat call girls late night, which are hilarious. It's fun to watch, 5, 6 a.m. And it's funny because our dorms, you can't get in and out of them if you don't live there after 3:30. So he was making calls for no reason, basically, because he wouldn't be able to get them in the room. But it's kind of funny. So that's something. A lot of times he just won't sleep in his bed. He'll just go on the floor for no reason. So that's another thing. And yeah, those are pretty much two reoccurring things that happen. But yeah, that's for sure. A lot of funny
Anything
stories.
else you'd like to talk about?
Hmm?
Any comments? Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of interested in your guys' new brand here. Kind of looking to see where you guys are looking to go. So love to hear about that.
Great question. See, this is we've been talking about this whole week. Now, we are fresh out of the oven, and that is our show. That is our show. What we're looking to do here is expand the show into a bigger company. What that company is going to be yet, we don't know. But we want to add a couple more shows to our line, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure what the company name is going to be. The Round Table has been thrown out there. You know, Round Table Sports, something like that. The Kitchen, which I'm a big proponent of the Kitchen, you see. We can add fun shows like Cooking with Heat, and it'd be like a crossfire show. You know, different shows like that where we can really get our viewers up. But right now we're sticking to fresh out of the oven, and that is our show for the time being.
I like it. You could do a little, like, have a logo, maybe some merch line. That'd be.
Oh yeah, that's the plan. That's the upcoming plan. But you know, we gotta get some funding. So if anyone out there on YouTube would like to sponsor us, feel free to. Our social media is down below. So, Emmett, got anything?
Nothing else. Chris, thank you for coming on tonight, and hopefully you'll be a recurring guest. Very good interview.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. All right. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another interview.